Hello everyone, I am Dr. Sushruth, Managing Partner, Mediclins LLP. I differ from National Accreditation Board for Hospitals and Healthcare Provider as far as the operation theatres guidelines are concerned. This is my personal opinion and my individual opinion, and I have my own grounds to support my own opinion on this. Now, National Accreditation Board for Hospitals and Healthcare Provider given a guidelines in an operation theatre, and it has defined that your OT validation report should come as ISO 5 at the plenum level. It means you have to achieve ISO 5 at the plenum level. Now, where you are operating? You are operating at the table level. From the plenum, again 6 feet or 5 feet below level. Now imagine that I'll sketch and show it to you. Now by the time air reaches to your particular table level, a lot of contamination get adhere to the entire particles which is floating around. Let us understand what accreditation defines as far as the OT guidelines are concerned. This is the fall ceiling. Okay. Now this is the operating table. Now surgeon is standing here. Staffs are here. Now this is the plenum box. Just mark it with a different color here. This is the plenum box, where ducting will be connected to it. Okay. Now this is the plenum box where ducting will be collected, and there will be a HEPA filters here. 0.3 micron. So now airflow from here get filtered. I will tell about this behind process and the previous process in the next video or some other time. Now air comes from here, filters through the HEPA module and come back. Now HEPA module will have some static pressure. Initially it takes around 25 mm Hg of water column. So now air comes from this side and then passes through a HEPA filter with a pressure and then get filtered and come to your OT. If you have designed it with a proper FPM with a proper static pressure, then there is a chances that it will reach to your table level. If you under design it, it will not even reach to the table level. So that's where designing plays very important role, not just look and feel. So now what NABH says, it says I have to achieve ISO 5 at the plenum level, that is at the grill level, somewhere around half feet or 1 feet from the grill level. There will be a grills here to the HEPA module. Just below that I need to achieve ISO 5. What is ISO 5? What is ISO 6? What is ISO 7 and 8 and 9? What is the load of particles that is counted? I'll explain because that's also a lengthy video. One by one, it's a huge subject, so one by one we'll tackle it. If you follow me for not like and subscribe, just for the learning purpose. I do not want any likes, I don't want any subscriptions. So if you want to learn something, you can definitely view my videos and then ask me questions. I'll definitely answer to you with references. Now this is ISO 5. Now irrespective of any CFM, irrespective of any, in a common language, irrespective of any designed motor capacity here at the AHU level, you will achieve ISO 5. Irrespective of any air changes per hour, you will achieve ISO 5 even with the 20 air changes per hour also. You will achieve ISO 5 even with 30 air changes per hour also. You will achieve ISO 5 even with 100 air changes per hour also. Then what's the point in defining the ISO classification from ISO 5, 6, 7, 8? They all depends on more the air changes, lesser is the ISO classification. More the air changes, higher is the efficiency of that particular clean room. Now what's the point in defining those ISO classifications? Anyway, you are going to achieve ISO 5. Your validation is clear. No, I don't believe that. What I want is, I need ISO 5 तो मैं कैसे भी मिल जाएगा मुझे. ISO 5 मिलने में कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. ಅದಕ್ಕೇನು ತೊಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ISO 5 ನಾನು ಸಿಕ್ಕೇ ಸಿಗ್ತದೆ. ಬಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಏನು, ನನಗೆ ISO 5 ಬರಬೇಕಾಗಿದ್ದು ನನಗೆ ISO 5 ಅಲ್ಲ, ನನಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಟೇಬಲ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ಗೆ ISO 7 ಅನ್ನ ಬರಬೇಕು. ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಟೇಬಲ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ಗೂ ISO 7 ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ ನನಗೆ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾದರೂ ಕಡಿಮೆ 20 ಏರ್ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಪರ್ ಅವರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟ್. If I define my operation theatre at around 20 air changes per hour, I will clear with NABH. I will clear with the validation also. I will be through with the accreditation guidelines also. But what's the point? Even with 20 air changes per hour, I am achieving ISO 5. And even with 100 air changes per hour also, I am achieving ISO 5. For me, validation reports holds good only when there is a less particle at the table level, at the peripheral level. Here what people are moving around, not going at the ceiling level and then doing operations. No, people are around at the table level. So I need to have a classification of ISO 7 and 6 at the table level. So all my projects I design in the same way. If there is a proper height, even if height is not there, I have done lot of other tricky activities where I have achieved ISO 7 at the table level. I can give you a lot of examples in that. So now, if NABH defines that I need ISO 7 at the table level, I need a good air classification at the peripheral level, then I believe. But if it says I need to have ISO 5 at the plenum level, even I put a high static fan also here, I'll achieve ISO 5. Then how one says that I follow ISO 14641 guidelines? So we have to work still more in terms of operation theatre. This is my personal opinion, and I believe it also. And this is regarding the little deviation from my ideas with National Accreditation Board for Hospital and Healthcare Providers idea. And one more. Recent guidelines of accreditations, they say that you have to have a minimum 10 feet of fall ceiling height. And I'm not talking about slab height, I'm talking about fall ceiling height. So now imagine, if you go by a proper height that is required for operation theatre, imagine this is my fall ceiling height, this is the floor, 10 feet is what they are expecting. We will give, no problem. But a client should be ready to give me a fall ceiling of around 13 feet. Even if you have one beam of around 12 feet, I'll manage. But having this 10 feet as a benchmark in the operation theatres, having 10 feet as a benchmark from finished floor level to the ceiling, I don't find a much logic behind this 10 feet. I have asked the questions also, but I didn't get satisfactory answer for that. Now even if I have a 10 feet height, then also I can fix my OT table here, OT light here. Even if I have 8 feet also, I can put the same pendant here, because there are different components there. We will come to that. So now this also I don't accept it. Because of which what will happen, few clients are worried. Because each slab costs 1 feet height will go into a lakhs. So now 13 feet, even if they have to provide. Now imagine they'll end up with half feet of space or 1 feet of space above fall ceiling, and end up in making some deviations by which operation theatre get compromised. So there are some questions which I'm still looking for answers. And again, I don't find much guidelines on ICU medical ICU, surgical ICU, pediatric ICU, neonatal intensive care units, isolation wards. I don't find any of the guidelines is laid on by National Accreditation Board for Hospital and Healthcare Providers. I'm really looking forward that they come up with a better air standards even for ICUs and all critical entities, because they have an indicator of ventilator associated infections and ventilator associated pneumonia, and they have a re-exploration rate from surgical ward again back to the OT, that is called surgical site infections. And re-exploration means the surgery is done, suture, everything is done. When you open the wound, there is a problem. Then again you find out some other things you have left out and you need to do again re-exploration, go back. These are all the indicators. I'll talk about indicators. There are a lot of subjects that is there. So this is called indicator. So I just miss that they don't have a proper guidelines as far as ICUs are concerned, but they have indicators, agreed, as far as infection control practices are concerned. But supportive documents in terms of air management is missing. Days to come, they will definitely have it. And as far as operation theatre height and operation theatre classification standards, whatever basic that I have to tell you, I have informed you. Anybody, any doubts, they can directly call me and get the details, and together we can study it. Please do not like and subscribe, learn it. Thank you.